This is Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. And we got a guest today, and it is a guest that I have a lot of questions for. Scott Wiener in the Senate up in San Francisco. Scott, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So I wanted to make this very net neutrality focused. One of the things that we do on this show, net neutrality and municipal broadband, is kind of a cause that I've taken up here in Southern California, and I've had conversations about it with many different people. So we don't need to start at the very, very basic, but I'm going to kind of do a quick recap. Feel free to jump in. If I get anything wrong, please correct me. But you know, essentially net neutrality repealed in 2015. Net neutrality, of course, blanket, it protects the free and open internet. You wrote a bill here in California. It was a net neutrality bill that was very strong. It got all of our old protections back, along with a thing on streaming where the data caps would still apply even if they used their own video browser, which we had not had previously. That bill was then gutted by Miguel Santiago. You went back, you fixed the bill and fixed it in its entirety, which I was very happy to see. That bill has advanced. Now, as of right now, Jerry Brown has not signed it. Is that where we're at?
Yeah, so the bill is on the governor's desk. He has until September 30th to act, either sign or veto all bills. So he has a deluge of bills he's dealing with now, so I don't read anything into the fact that he hasn't signed it yet. He'll get to it. And I think, you know, what's important for people to understand about net neutrality, it's pretty simple. It is the basic proposition that we as individuals get to decide where we go on the internet, as opposed to having AT&T or Verizon or Comcast or whoever else tell us where we can go. And the way they tell us, or want to tell us, where we can go is by blocking access to websites that don't pay them enough money, or for websites that don't pay them enough money, creating a slow lane for them so it becomes essentially impossible to access them. And so what will happen is without net neutrality, you'll get your data plan or your internet plan, and you'll be limited where you can go. It'll be a situation where here are the 5 news sites you can access. Here's the 1 search engine you can access. Here's where you can go shopping because, you know, Banana Republic paid us a bunch of money, but J.Crew didn't. So we're going to make it impossible to access J.Crew, whatever the case may be. And so, you know, the internet is at the heart of our democracy, of organizing and activism, of our economy, of our healthcare system, our public safety system. Everyone relies on the internet. It's not a luxury. And net neutrality ensures that we can access whatever we want to access on the internet. The bill, you know, this has always been a hard bill, and it was a big fight throughout. We did have a hitch at one point where the bill got severely watered down, but we were able to put it back together again. And I want to thank Assembly Member Miguel Santiago for working with us to put it back together again and to help us move it through the Assembly. So I'm really proud that we have it on the governor's desk. We got to get it signed into law. And of course, if the governor does that, these telecom and cable companies have promised that they will sue us, and we'll have to fight them in court.
So let's go to that then, because now the accompanying bill that Kevin De Leon had, which basically that assured that all state entities have to follow, can only work with carriers that follow net neutrality laws. That bill did not pass. Now, what can you speak to anything like why did that bill not pass?
You know, I don't. So Senator De Leon is my legislative partner in the Senate on this bill. And so we jointly authored both the bill SB 822, the one that's on the governor's desk, and then we had a separate bill that he was the lead author on that said that if you, so in our bill, if the telecom or cable company, if the internet service provider violates net neutrality, the Attorney General can sue them, or a district attorney or a city attorney in a large city can sue. This separate bill provided that a violation of net neutrality would mean that state agencies, with some exceptions, wouldn't be able to enter into contracts with the violating internet service provider. That bill did die on the assembly floor. There are, I think, various reasons for that. Again, this was a huge fight. We got the main bill through, and that's really what matters. I think we're in really good shape.
So, to my understanding, because the accompanying bill didn't pass, where that has a bit of where that could hurt us in the future is that when the telecom companies take this to court, it's a little more susceptible. I've read a few articles claiming that is the case. Could you speak to that and kind of illuminate that a little bit for us?
Right. So we've known from the beginning, because they told us so publicly, that they were going to sue us, and who knows, the FCC, in its infinite wisdom, could join in and sue us as well. We think that we have a decent legal argument that California, under our police powers, we have the ability to protect the health and safety and welfare of our residents, of our businesses, and we are protecting consumers here to make sure that people have access to an open internet. We'll fight that out in court. Congress has never passed a law preempting the ability of states to do this. The FCC has purported to do that, but we don't think the FCC has the power to do that. It is the case that the contracting provision saying that if you violate net neutrality, we won't contract with you, that is definitely an additional good legal argument. And ideally, you want to have as many good legal arguments as you want. So I'm not going to pretend that I wasn't disappointed that that bill died on the assembly floor. But I still believe that we have a strong argument. And if for whatever reason we falter in court and we believe that we can go back and do legislation around the contracting issue, we'll do that. We're not gonna ever go away on this issue. It's really important, and we have to win.
So you're confident Jerry Brown's going to sign it?
Oh, I didn't say that. I mean, I don't ever.
Okay.
The governor has not made any public statements on the bill. He rarely takes positions on bills before he either signs or vetoes them. So I don't have any reason to believe that he's opposed to the bill, but I also don't want to make assumptions. The governor, he's very thoughtful. My experience is, my understanding is he reads everything. He'll read all the support, all the opposition, all the analysis, read the bill itself. He's a very thorough elected official. And so I think in the end, my hope is that he'll sign it because we are on the right side of this issue, but I don't want to speculate.
All right, fair enough. Going on that, there's a viewer question. So if Jerry Brown doesn't sign it, what would the next steps be? Would it just go back to you guys completely? Like what would happen next if he doesn't sign it?
Well, if the governor were to veto the bill, we would have the option, and I think we would take a hard look at reintroducing it next year, because again, it's an important issue, and sometimes a bill takes a couple of tries when it's a hard one to get it done. But right now we're very focused on just making the case to the governor about why this is a good bill and why he should sign it and keep California on the cutting edge of innovation.
Have you had any direct conversations with him? Anything you're willing to share? Like, have you, been like, hey, net neutrality is great?
I have not directly spoken to the governor about this bill. My staff has been keeping his staff updated for a number of months on hard bills. We find it helpful just to always keep the governor's staff updated on what we're doing. And so we wanted to make sure that when the bill does get to the governor, you want his staff to be really familiar with the bill so that they can brief him on it. But I have not spoken to him directly about the bill.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together